basically a collateralized debt obligation works like this. This was one of the things that got us into this mess. Let's assume all of us are now, just at this moment, buying a house. The problem is, only these two people actually have credit scores worth something. These two people actually sit on money, old money, they know what they're doing. This is an example, dear boy.
Okay.
Yeah. I didn't want to point out the real smart people in the room, because then the Illuminati will kill me. Let's just assume these two, they know what they're up to. But all the rest of us want mortgages as well. And then this table and me have absolutely no idea. We are literally, we're sitting on a porch in Arkansas playing banjos and feeding hogs. That's what we are actually literally making no money at all. Still, we want to buy like mansions. The investment banks made this possible. How? Because they thought of something really, really clever. They thought that you take all our lending, put that in a big, big box, and then wrap up that box in the credit scores of these two people. You and I barely scrape by, and what little money we have, we spend on booze. Still, in the CDO, it looks like we two have a AAA rating. Brilliant. All of a sudden, you can start selling huge packages of loans. And to explain, no, these are really great things. After a while, they figure out, no, this is actually far too simple and trivial to kind of sell these wrap-up things. We start selling CDO squares, which is you take a bunch of CDOs, then you make that into one CDO, which is a CDO square, and then you start selling that. And that's really neat, because you have a huge amount of things, and you have absolutely no idea what's actually going in within this black box. And then somebody thought, why not take this one step further, bunch together a bunch of granular CDO squares into a CDO cubed, CDO into the power of 3, and start selling that. Now, of course, at this point, it is technically and objectively impossible to find out what this product is worth. Literally, you can't trace back to anything to do with reality. Kim and I have disappeared completely. Nina has disappeared completely. Everyone has disappeared completely. We are just strange ticks in this humongous box of financial instruments. Now, of course, this meant that a lot of people were gambling with boxes they had no idea what they contain. This is basically you, rather than going shopping, you can buy the mystery box every day and hope that it contains groceries and not, for instance, 18 kilos of toilet paper. But I mean, this is what basically what people were doing. And now, the question is, of course, why did they do this? Why couldn't they just leave well enough alone and do what they always known how to do? Get little teeny tiny bunches of interest on loans and stuff. Because they believed in creativity. They didn't do it necessarily because somebody's told them, no, you need to invent, you need to churn out bigger profits. They were already making bigger profits. They were doing it in part because they were caught in the notion that every single company had to figure out new and creative ways of working. New and ingenious, innovative ways of doing this. When these products came off the market, and I traced this a little, they were always followed by this almost the same byline. Yet another leap in financial innovation. Part of the blame for this was our almost unlimited belief in creativity. And if you look at the other things, what else? Why was this humongous debt boom going on? Because we were told that creative consumption, showing yourself through symbolic consumption, of trying to live more through better design, of trying to live more through travel or art or anything, was something that you should, almost had to do. People got in debt because they were trained to believe in the power of creativity, in the fact that living more creative lives was a finer thing. The desired novelty, and of course the feeling, much heralded by magazines, lifestyle magazines and business gurus, that everything was, in this new innovation economy, truly possible. Now, I don't believe all of this myself. In part, this is a caricature I'm drawing to kind of try to think about what does creativity mean. Because you've seen the other version of this caricature many, many, many times. The other version of this caricature is the thing that is still going on in the market. We need more creativity. Creativity will solve all problems. But I, because I'm actually interested not in selling creativity, in selling the notion of creativity, but in actually trying to figure out what creativity means in this complex world we live in, wanted to say, what if we start looking at these dark things? And what if we start looking at the ways in which we now again are coming back to the same notion, the same claims? Creativity will save the economy. This is the exact same claim that was made, which generated the crisis, which generated the collateralized debt obligation, which generated the debt-fueled creative consumption. Yet, we are so willing to have faith in this holiest of holies, in our secular age, the pure, the true, the beautiful creativity, that even though this claim fucked us up once, we're more than willing to do it again. Culture is supposed to be a big, big part of the last economy as well. Humongous amounts of money were invested by investment banks into culture. Humongous cultural edifices were created based solely on cheap debt. These are, of course, not things we want to talk about because it seems like they sully our pure and beautiful notion of creativity and culture. But it would be rather strange to deny the fact that a lot of the energy that there was, and we saw in the creative economy and the cultural economy, actually stemmed from the same drives which we saw in the financial economy. There is this constant scream about the need for innovation. I've continuously made fun of this because I am so fascinated with how come we still buy the notion of innovation, even though we've seen time and time again it being made more and more bland, made more and more weak by the fact that everybody adopts it. I've tried for a long, long time to find a CEO who does not believe in innovation. I've so far failed. I have, which I think is really cool, found that fine upstanding gentleman, Joseph Ratzinger, now known as Benedictus XVI, has actually made some moves to bring an innovation strategy to the offices of the Holy Inquisition, today known as the
Congregation.
Yes, the Congregation of the Faith, or the Protection of the Faith. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I mean, we are living in a world where we were already screaming this, we need innovation, and everybody was in on the discourse. And now, if you look at business media and most other media, the same yells, the same claims are being made. And I'm increasingly fascinated by the fact that these exact same discourses have managed to survive so strongly. And as I come from a kind of deconstructive mode, started to question whether this is not kind of proof that the discourse of creativity and innovation is no longer a notion of a discourse of change, but on the contrary, the discourse of the one stable thing, the one thing we actually can have full and complete faith in, the one thing that cannot be challenged, that cannot be asked questions to, the one thing that we can see as stable, true, and eternal. And now this, of course, creates a philosophical paradox of fantastic proportions. Because, of course, creativity is supposed to be the creation of the new, the breaking with the old frameworks. Yet at the same time, we are living in a world in which creativity is becoming the framework. It's becoming the thing in which we believe. It's becoming the faith of faith.